In this lesson we're going to summarise our three factorising techniques that we've learnt, and then we're going to apply them all at the same time if that's necessary. Well, certainly the common factor part first. Okay, so you've met three different techniques. You've met common factors, which is taking out a common factor into a single bracket. You've met difference of two squares, where you have an x squared and then a takeaway and then a square number. Both bits have to have square numbers and there needs to be a takeaway in the middle. This splits into double brackets, one with a plus, one with a minus, always the same numbers at the end. And finally, the most recent lessons have been in factorising trinomials that go into double brackets. Now there's rules to factorising. In factorising, the first thing you always look for is a common factor when it's a mixed exercise or a test or an assessment. The next thing you look after that is for a difference of two squares, and finally a trinomial. So you always start by looking for a common factor. Even if you think it's a trinomial, check if there's a common factor first. This makes it easier to do. So I'm going to give you 6 examples here, to just random examples. They're a combination of different things. So what we have to do first is always look for a common factor if we can. So in question 1 here, we've got 4cd squared plus 8cd. So I'm going to check for my common factor. Now I can see that 4 and 8 both divide by 4. There's also a c and a d common to both bits, so I can take a 4cd out of this. Now what do I need to multiply 4cd by to get 4cd squared? I need to multiply by a d and put a plus. And then I'm looking to multiply this by something to make the 8cd, well that's going to be 2. I'll then see if I can do anything else. Can I do anything with this? It's not a difference of two squares, it's not a trinomial, so that's it, I'm done. Okay, question 2. First thing I want to do is check for a common factor before anything else. So I can see that a 5 is in the first term and it's also in the second. We'll divide both of these by 5. So take a common factor out of 5, which leaves x squared. 5 times x squared gives you 5x squared. Take away, and 5 times 100 will give you that last bit. Okay, now looking at this, x squared take away 100, that looks like the difference of two squares. We've got a square number here, a takeaway, and an x squared. So I'm going to leave my 5 at the front, then I'm going into my double brackets. X times x gives you x squared. 10 tens make 100, and the plus and minus allow the middle x terms to cancel each other out to leave us with that. Okay, question 3, 6y squared plus 16y plus 8. Now it looks like a trinomial. You've got a squared term, a y term, and a number term at the end, but always check for a common factor first. It makes it a lot easier to do. So I'm looking for a number that divides into 6, 16, and also 8. That will be 2. So 2 3s are 6, so I need a 3y squared. Divide 16y by 2, you get 8y. And finally divide the 8 by 2, you get a 4. Okay, now I can leave the 2 at the front and I can go into my double brackets. So I want to write my double brackets out, and I'm thinking, well, I've got a 3y here, so 3y squared, sorry, so 3y and a y, make up that. And I'm looking for factors of 4. So factors of 4, you can either choose 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. Now if I'm going for 4 and 1, I could put a 4 there and a 1 there. That's going to be a 12, and a 1, that's not going to work. You could go for a 4 here and a 1 there. 4 and 3 y's, that makes 7, that's not going to work. So it must be 2 and 2. Now if you spot 2 and 2 straight away, then that's absolutely fine. Yeah, it's going to be both pluses, so there's your answer. Again, multiply it out to double check it. Okay, 3 questions to go. Factorise fully. Right, first of all, look for a common factor. Now I've got a negative x squared here. I don't really like that. So I'm going to take out a common factor of negative 1, just to help me out here. So negative 1 multiplied by x squared is negative x squared. negative 1, and you just write it with negative, you don't need to put a 1 in front, times negative 4x will give you the plus here. Negative 1 times plus 3 will give you the negative 3 at the end. So leave the negative at the front, and then I'm just going to my double brackets. So I'll write them out with my mouse kind of messily, and then I'll rub it out to leave a nice answer. Okay, so x times x is going to make your x squared at the start. Factors of 3 are 3 and 1. You just have to decide on the signs. So it's a plus at the end, so they must be the same. It's a takeaway here, so they must be both negative to make that work. Okay, question 5. Right, first thing I want to do is check for a common factor as usual. Now there's nothing that divides into 4 or 11 or 6. So what we have to do here is go for our double brackets straight away. It's not a difference of two squares because there's 3 terms, so we're going for this. This is quite a hard example because there's different things that make up 4, so if you think about that, you could have a 1 and a 4, or a 2 and a 2. And to make up the 6 at the end, same idea, you could have a 1 and a 6, or a 2 and a 3. So there's quite a few things to pick from. Now I tend to go with the values that are closer together. Now in the first instance, I'm going to choose 4x and the x. Okay, I know say we go for the 2 and 2, but I'm just going to pick the 4 and the 1 at the start. I'm going to pick the 2 and the 3 at the end though, just to check if that works. Okay, so I'm going to go for 3 here and 2 at the end. Now this makes a 3x and that makes an 8x. Okay, that generates an 11 and it's a plus at the end, so that's going to have to be either 2 pluses or 2 takeaways. The takeaway in the middle gives it away, and it's 2 subtractions. If you didn't pick the 2 and the 3 first and you picked the 6 and 1, you just do trial and error until you get it working for you. Okay, last question. Firstly, common factor. Can't see one. So check for the difference of two squares. Well, w squared times w squared will give you that, and 9 nines are 81, a takeaway, so that's your first bit. Why have I got this in red? Because I noticed that is a difference of two squares again. That will be w take away 3 and w plus 3. So I'm going to write that down, and then I'm going to leave the w squared plus 9 at the end. Just check again. Can't factorise any of this. Okay, I'm finished.